Welcome to our top tips for consulting resume writing. My name is Enguerrand Los.
And my name is Rose Kirby.
We are both former Mckinsey consultants. I'm the founder of CaseCoach and a headhunter for the top 3 management consultancies. I've advised over 500 experienced professionals applying to these firms. 90% of them were invited to interview. In this video, Rose will share our top tips on writing a standout resume for experienced professionals.
Let's start by looking at the selection process at top consulting firms. There are usually 2 stages: application screening and interviews. 95% of experienced professionals are rejected at the application screening stage. In most cases, they are turned down because their resume is unclear or it doesn't immediately show what the recruiter is looking for. This is why creating a compelling resume is incredibly important, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. There are other factors, of course. The cover letter and networking can play a role as well. To find out more about this, sign up for our free consulting resume and cover letter course for experienced professionals at CaseCoach.com. Let's start by talking about the best resume layout for a consulting application. The recruiter is going to make their first decision based on a quick glance of your resume. So your resume should be immediately demonstrating what the recruiter is looking for. This is not the time to be creative. Don't confuse the recruiter with an unusual layout. The format needs to be clean and professional. What this means is no logos and no pictures. Use a plain white background and a black conservative font. There should be no color. Make sure that all titles and paragraphs are vertically aligned, and use only one font, with no more than a couple of different sizes. It also needs to be short. The ideal length is 1 page, but 2 pages is not necessarily a problem, particularly for a candidate who has had more than 3 jobs after graduation. More than 2 pages is a no-go, regardless of your background. In terms of structure, I recommend 3 sections in this order. First, professional experience. Second, your education. And third, additional information. In the professional experience section, create a new header for each of your employers and nest all of the roles that you've had with that employer within the same header. This way, you will never have to repeat the name of an employer, and you will be able to show that you've progressed within that company. In the education section of your resume, as for your employers, create a new header for each of your academic institutions and nest all of your degrees at that institution within the same header. Then, include as bullet points below the degree all of your academic and extracurricular achievements from that period. By grouping all of these elements together, you make it really easy for the recruiter to see that not only did you do well academically, but you also did a lot outside of the classroom. Now let's take a look at the content that experienced professionals should include in their resume. It's worth thinking about what the firms are actually looking for in a candidate. Overall, it comes down to whether or not they want this person on their team. Can this candidate problem solve? Can they get things done? Will they represent the firm well? This can be translated into 6 attributes to demonstrate through your resume. You need to show top academics and numeracy, a track record of outstanding job performance, examples of leadership and achievements, evidence of strong communication skills, as well as interesting extracurriculars. In addition, applicants to practice-focused roles need to demonstrate their expertise. It's worth spending the time really reflecting on your experiences and identify what you can bring to the table in each of these dimensions. We go into more detail about this in our free resume and cover letter course for experienced professionals, available for free on CaseCoach.com. Once you have a solid working draft of your resume with a clear and professional layout and the right content to impress, it's time to wordsmith it all. The framework we're going to use for this is the 4 C's of written communication: clarity, concision, completeness, and consistency. you'll want your language to meet these 4 tests. Let's start with clarity. Bear in mind that you need to be understood by someone who has no prior knowledge of your field. So you'll need to use everyday language with short, familiar words, no lingo or acronyms. To be easily understood, use concrete rather than abstract words, such as car instead of vehicle, and focus each bullet point on a single idea. The second C is concision. You don't have a lot of space, so limit each bullet point to 2 lines maximum. You'll need to strip your resume of words that are redundant or don't add meaning. The third C is completeness. What this means is that you need to include all the information necessary to get your point across. And sometimes that means that a bit of context is required. The final C is consistency. Consistency is important so that your resume comes across as professional and as easy to understand as possible. It means applying consistent sentence structure, such as starting all bullet points with an action verb in the past tense. Similarly, always use the same punctuation to close bullet points. That's it for our top tips. To give yourself the best chance, sign up for our free resume and cover letter course for experienced professionals on CaseCoach.com. Not only will you get more of our tips, but you will also be able to learn how to use networking to your advantage and to download templates and examples of successful resumes and cover letters.